Let me welcome to the show. Look at him. He's looking all buttery right here. Okay, this Zoom is amazing. Let me just say, I love the Zoom. I love to see the people. I was watching him do his duet with one of my favorite people of all time, Tamia. And he's joining us right now because he's also in them streets, in them Twitter streets, slaying people. Let me welcome Mr. Eric Benet.
What's going on? How you doing?
How are you?
You know what? I am trying to stay positive, trying to shed as much positivity and knowledge as I can with every step I take. We need both positivity and knowledge more than ever right now, so I'm blessed.
Okay. I invited you on initially because it was Friday, and we usually keep it a little light, and I wanted you to come on.
It's hard to keep it light right now.
That's my point. So now you came in before when we had you come on. Mr. Floyd hadn't died, and we weren't in this hell that we're in. So I just want to get your take. Were you watching the police station burn last night? Did you watch the video of Mr. Floyd take his last breath?
It's, as you've heard many times before, it's damn near impossible to watch that video and not feel pain, not feel decades and decades of everything that we've been going through as a people. But it's necessary to watch that video. I think everybody needs to see it. It's really interesting. You said, and I'm so glad that you asked me to be on. You asked me to be on before Mr. Floyd was murdered. And, I'm always tweeting something about the injustice, about just how crazy people who live in some alternate universe bubble seem as though us black folk are just making a whole lot of ado about nothing. And I had, I had retweeted a meme that basically said something like, I'm paraphrasing the meme, but it's like, hell hath no fury, like a white woman temporarily inconvenienced. And it's just really interesting to get the response from some people who literally seem to be living in this alternate universe. It's like when you shed light on some of the obvious racial disparages like that, those people who live in that bubble, they'll come back and say, bro, come on, man. Why do you have to spew this hatred, bro? It's like, look, just shed love, and I'm all for kumbaya, right? But I can't sing kumbaya when your knee is on my neck, and, and so it's just the most fascinating thing for me throughout this whole process is the fact that even today, last night I had a conversation with somebody, a white guy who was a dear friend of mine and who's a very successful person in his own right. I won't call him out by his name, but he just randomly called me and he's like, bro, I just want to ask you, I'm watching your tweets and what am I missing? It's like, look, if when I watch TV, I see black people getting pulled over and because they're resisting arrest, and it's like all people have to do is just not resist arrest, and these problems wouldn't happen. And then we went on to have what was for him an educational conversation about the how math doesn't lie. There's no comparison to the incarceration that black and brown people get for the same crime, same age, same circumstances, but we're going away for longer. Our sentences are going to be, a lot more stringent. If I get pulled over by a cop, there's probably I get 3 or 4 times more of a chance of having either some type of physical assault or dying. And, I think he walked away from the conversation feeling like, okay, I'm understanding. But it's just amazing to me that there's still that bubble. Like today, the bubble still exists.
Yeah.
So this is an important conversation. This is a very painful time, and I'm really happy that you asked me to be on.
Well, I'm glad that you said thank you.
I got a question, Eric. So speaking of bubble, and don't take this any kind of way, but most celebrities, people who are not celebrities, we paint celebrities as people living in a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
So, as someone who has a level of consciousness the way you do, how do you navigate your spaces, with celebrity? It's a hard way to you're black and celebrity.
That's a great question. I think no matter what your immediate circumstances are, you can choose to be oblivious or not, and it's very easy. And I guess, for lack of a better word, it's more convenient to act like you don't see what's going on, because I can just go back to, my lifestyle, and I'm fortunate and grateful to my fans and the God-given gifts that I've been blessed with. So, I was raised in the streets of Milwaukee.
One of the most segregated states in our union.
You took the damn next sentence out of my mouth. You are correct. The most segregated, and it's funny, people say, "Oh, you're from Milwaukee? I didn't know it was black people in Milwaukee." I'm like, yeah, that's because they hide us. But but Milwaukee is one of the most segregated cities, and I grew up in circumstances where there was community, there was love, but we definitely didn't have the resources as the white half of Milwaukee. But I think it's a choice, man, and it's a choice that my mom and my father instilled in me, to always be aware that there's more that you can do to not just help yourself but help other people. And I think I just carry that with me. Now, somebody else may not have been blessed enough to have the insightful parents that I had, but it's definitely a choice. Look, we got brothers and sisters out there, I ain't going to say no names, but that are defending Trump. And they see absolutely how dare you call Trump a racist? He's done more for black people and brown people. So, I mean, I guess that bubble is a convenient, lovely place to live if you can do it, but that shit sounds crazy to me.
Or financially expedient, because there's a lot of money
True. There's a lot
in being
of money
a black person that loves Trump or hates black people or denigrates black people. There's a lot of money in it.
Absolutely.
So Eric Benet, growing up in Milwaukee, did you have any police encounters? Because I'm going to ask people this today, because I think those stories don't get told, and we need to. There's almost a catharsis in telling your story, and we don't get a chance to tell our stories. Our stories are always through a white lens, through a non-colored lens, so to speak, as Lamont would say, colorless, But
growing up in Milwaukee was, first of all, I had a wonderful, wonderful childhood. I had very loving and protective parents and an incredibly loving family, and I can't stress how grateful I am.
But you were the baby, though. You were the baby, too.
Yeah, wow, you did your damn research. Yeah, I was the baby. And but here's the interesting thing. My father was a cop.
Wow.
So my father was a policeman and then a detective for the city of Milwaukee, and just had to deal with unbelievable racism, not just in the city of Milwaukee, but within the police force. There was a police chief back in the day that was infamous for his racism within the police force, but, my dad was one of the good ones. My dad was one of the ones where when he wasn't working, he would go check on people and make sure they were cool. My dad was one of those guys that, even though I grew up in a rough neighborhood, everybody knew my dad was a cop, but he was a good cop. Like, he was a good person. If there was somebody in need, whether he was on the clock or not, my dad was there to help them. So, but I also understood by the incessant racism within the police force that my dad was, I don't want to say a minority of good cops on the police force, but there was a dark side to the Milwaukee Police Department too. So I think I grew up early on with a knowledge that there's definitely good and bad in law enforcement. And I think I've seen some of the tweets and memes of some of the police officers who are bravely speaking out, on Instagram or this, that, and the other. I mean, that was my dad. He'd come home and talk about some of the things that were happening and how it took him so long to reach detective status because he was black, And so I think we need more cops like my father was. That would be a nice start, a nice introduction to the remedy of what's going on in law enforcement right now. But I think it goes from the top down.
What are you telling your children, Eric Benet, about what they're seeing right now?
Well, I have an adult woman,
daughter,
India.
Yes.
And, India was, raised with my insight that I think I just described to you. So her opinion of what's happening now reflects mine. Our youngest, my wife and I, we have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. And we have made the choice not to. They're a little young and susceptible to, I'm going to be real, like trauma. If they could see in detail what's going on. I think as age appropriately as we possibly can, we let them know that there are good and bad people in the world. And we optimistically teach them that good will prevail. We do things in the charitable and philanthropic realm all the time that we make them a part of it. So there's definitely a sense of humanity being nurtured in them. And, it sounds corny, but like the song says, we believe the children are our future. You got to teach them. You got to teach them humanity, just like kids can learn racism. You ain't born like that. You're taught that. You're not born social awareness. You're taught it. So our kids have a very hands-on experience with giving back and realizing that the station and the status in which they live is quite the blessing. And to much who's given, there's much that's expected. And they really enjoy giving back.
Are you barefoot right now? I'm just curious. I'm asking for a friend.
Wait, this is the most unsexiest shot I'm about to show you.
Right.
Bam! Look at
what the hell?
You see the slippers?
Yes. What are those granddaddy slippers? Oh my God! So all of them years of walking,
colorful Johns on with the leather strappy looking.
All of them years, I imagine Eric Benet walking around barefoot. Because did you ever have a bad incident being barefoot out there in them streets?
Bad incidents.
Tell me the worst thing.
That's why you got those.
Got them orthopedic joints now.
I would do shows on these stages in these theaters, and when you're performing, your adrenaline is pumping. You don't feel nothing, right, except love and joy coming from the audience, and I'm just on this euphoric high while I'm performing. Boom, boom, boom. As soon as the show is over, I look at my feet, and it's like, damn, I got splinters all up in this. So it's like, yo.
Wow.
I had to stop that mess, man.
All right, and I'm also going to give you, this is just me giving you some professional advice on your Twitter page. I think you should take down the 2019 tour dates from your Twitter. Yeah, I think you should do that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very good. That's very good. Yeah. I think I will. Good advice.
You're welcome. So during this COVID-19, and I pray your families, everyone's healthy, everybody in your life is healthy and well and safe.
Yeah, I took off my glasses so I could see you better. Oh, you're looking good.
Thank you.
So, we really pay attention to science in our house. So we have been quarantined, not just my immediate family, but I have sisters and brothers here in Southern California too. And, we only go out when necessary. We're trying to do our part to make sure this thing doesn't spread any more than it already has. So absolutely.
So I was watching you and Tamia again. Tamia is like my favorite all time, and I love the duet.
She's
you guys
incredible.
sang. She's an amazing person. She and Grant,
Yeah.
like, if you have relationship goals, and I'm sure your relationship is nice, but when I look at Grant and Tamia, I'm like, all things are possible. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And it's not an act, because sometimes
No.
you see that mess and it's an act.
Right.
I call Tamia, and we'll be on video chat, and Grant will be right there snuggled up, and I'm like, damn, that's beautiful. Look at y'all. That's real. That's real black love right there, not that performative stuff.
Or people who just finding out that they don't like each other. Because quarantine will tell on you.
Woo, Lord.
All right, so you good? I'm just
Nah, we
checking.
good.
I'm checking
We
for a
good.
friend.
We
Okay.
good.
All right. Now, the tour thing with this COVID-19 has impacted a lot of, singers. They, folks are trying to be creative now doing these verses. Is there somebody that you would like to do a verses with? And Erica Badu is charging people to check her out, performing in her tiny bedroom. Lamont's in his tiny closet. He's doing his performances there. Yeah. Are you planning to do something creatively,
Yeah.
Eric Benet?
I think me and DMX should do a versus.
That's hilarious.
That
That
would
would be, come on. Now, how many people will watch that? Probably nobody.
I definitely.
Nah, let's see.
I would tune in.
Balance.
The
balance.
verses, you will watch that?
I would watch
Yeah,
it. I would watch it.
What would be funny if I tried to Eric Benet sing some of DMX's stuff, and he tried to DMX like femininity. Now that's a good
That
one.
would be what would that say?
Oh,
Yeah, that's real.
Let me hear Eric Benet sing some DMX. Let me hear that. What would that sound like?
Oh Lord!
Where my dogs?
No, don't get me doing that,
Don't do
Karen.
it?
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
I think that would be dope. So,
No,
so
but
who we could?
there's been a lot of like Eric and Maxwell or Eric. I don't know. Like
I can see that.
I mean, I'm down, but probably more than the verses. I would like to do it like another way. I would like to because I'm a singer, I'm a musician. Let's do the verses instead of just playing records. Let's have stage versus stage. You do one of your hits live, bam. I'm gonna come back with one of my hits live, bam. That sounds fun. Let's do that. Let's get on that.
With Teddy,
You MC
Teddy
that,
tried
Karen.
Teddy tried that, and it didn't.
Yeah,
necessarily
Teddy
come
Riley.
out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that didn't. What was it? The technology
he had a
thing, or
Yeah,
is there another way to do it where it could work, or is it just a bad idea altogether?
I think, but I don't know. How did you and Tamia do your duet? Because she came on and she talked about the one she did with Deborah Cox, and that was actually pre-produced before they didn't do that live. So
Why you gonna have me coming on your show giving away secrets and stuff?
because it ain't a secret. We know there's a lag. There's a lag on the damn Zoom. I mean, ain't no way you're gonna be able to do that perfectly.
Right. Basically, we did it that way. Like Tamia sang her part beautifully to video, and then sent it to me. And I basically sang my part as I watched her flawless performance. And that's why you see, when you look at the video, I'm obviously more into it because I'm listening to her singing like, damn, she just hit that note like it wasn't nothing. And so, yeah, that's how we did it. She did her part first, sent it to me, and I sang on top of her.
So, do you struggle with your voice as because people are trying to troll you because you had your gray beard out, and you're like, I'm 53 years old. What'd you say? You soda drinking, potato chip eating. Like he cussed people out for trying to comfort him for being 53, which I love. I love that. But you're now clean shaven and everything. Do you have to do different things now with your voice to make it?
Like with my voice is cool. If anything, I feel like my voice has gotten like even better. Like when you get older, some of the little physical idiosyncrasies about your voice, you learn how to work with and improve upon even more after some decades. But I was just like, I made the mistake of going on on my page and Tamia's page, people were very positive. It was very beautiful, but my dumb ass made the mistake of going on the Shade Room or something like that. And it was like, damn, why did I do that?
Yeah.
And it was one of those days where usually I don't even like give nothing like that no thought. But when you in quarantine, you got time. So I was like, you know what? Let me tell him something. Come on, I don't look that bad.
Yeah, you're very fit. I'm seeing not just the slippers and the crazy socks, but his thighs look very nice too because he keeps bringing those into the screen. I don't know why you're doing that, Eric Benet. It's we haven't been in this house for like a long time. I'm just saying, Eric Benet, stop showing me your thigh. And all right, we're gonna go to a break. Can you sing a little femininity to take us out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Touch me and I feel your femininity. Carry, you're the lady women want to be. Something you move when you're making love to me. All right, that's enough of that.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. We got to go to break. I broke out into a sweat. Eric Benet, come back anytime. No, literally, I broke out into a sweat. Come back, sir. Please.
Yeah,
Please. Thank
absolutely.
you. Love you. Stay
I love
safe.
you more. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, Eric Benet. Follow him everywhere, and don't go to his 2019 tour because that already happened. But we're gonna get him in 2020. We're gonna do that.